Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this most recent edition of HBMA Live. Today we have two guests who will be your next board directors next year. They'll be joining the board of HBMA, and I appreciate them taking time to talk with me, have a chance for you to get to know them. We have Kyle Tucker and Sue Bailie. Hi, Kyle and Sue.
Hey,
Hi.
Thank you both for joining us. And some of you may recall that Susan was on a few weeks ago talking about the activities of the Commercial Payer Relations Committee. So Sue's been involved in that committee for a number of years, and Kyle's been involved in other activities, including the Publications Committee and Ethics Committee of the Society. So Kyle, I'll turn it over to you since you're our newbie to the show. Welcome.
hey, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So, Kyle, one thing I like to do is just ask our guests about their journey into the RCM industry. It's a little bit of a specialized industry. So, how did you become involved in the industry? What was your path?
Well, I took the circuitous route. I was joined IBM out of college and was in IBM for 14 years, and then had a friend that owned a medical billing revenue cycle management company, and he asked me to come on board and help. And that was my entree. That was 1999, and haven't looked back since. And started my own company 2007.
Congrats there. So you got a good couple decades more than that in the industry.
Yeah.
And you've also gotten involved in HBMA. You've been involved in a couple of committees. What made you want to get involved, and how did you get involved?
Well, I always have been interested in, and think it's important that people give back to whatever, aspects of society you're involved in, whether it's your locality or something. So, I wanted to be involved. And then I thought publications were good. I like to write. I like to read. And then I've always been interested in ethics. My favorite class in business school was business ethics. So I thought the ethics committee might be a great thing to be involved in as well. So that's why I ended up joining the two committees, because I had an interest in both of those areas.
Mhm. And how about you, Sue? For those who might not recall, how did you get involved in the industry? I recall that your path was a little bit different from maybe many of our executives and members.
Yeah, my path was a little bit different when I joined the revenue cycle business in 22 years ago, 1999, same time as you, Kyle. I was in the restaurant business. I had nothing to do with revenue cycle, medical billing, none of that stuff. I knew I needed to change careers at that point in my life, and so I joined Healthcare Administrative Partners in 1999. And haven't looked back since. I began in the doing data entry and just worked my way through to vice president. It's a great industry to be in. We became active in HBMA. Our owner, our president, helped start at HBMA, Brian Efron. And so we've always been involved with HBMA. I became involved myself personally, probably about 2014, somewhere in that area. And like you, Kyle, knew that I needed to be involved. If I'm going to be a part of something, I need to be involved. I want to help it grow. I want to learn more. So I joined the commercial payer committee so that I could be more involved with the payers. And helping our other members solve their issues.
Okay. And for you, Kyle, so you're the president or CEO of Dexios, right? So
That's right.
For those who aren't familiar with the company, is it a company that specializes in certain areas of healthcare, or are you broader in terms of the different providers that you service and support?
We're 100% radiology.
Okay.
Which is a very crowded space, as Susan knows.
Yeah.
And I think what I tried to do was create a company that can kind of do anything revenue recycle related as it comes to radiology. So we can sell software, we can have a cloud solution, we can consult, we can have a temp agency to put people in. So that's, kind of our play in the market is, kind of a whatever you need, that's what we can do, kind of a thing.
And how about healthcare administrative partners, Sue? Same question. Are you focused in certain specialties? Are you broader? Or?
No, we're primarily radiology as well. We do have other, we do other specialties, and we have a coding division that we do we have some clients that we do just coding for. We do financial management services, coding, primarily like I said, radiology. We have 40 or so more of revenue cycle clients. So we're pretty specialized in radiology, and that's where we expand our business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're working in different regions, though. Also, you're based in New Hampshire and Richmond, respectively.
That's right.
Most of our business is not in New Hampshire. We don't have a New Hampshire client. Actually, we have all over the country, but not New Hampshire. We are specialized all over the country.
Mm-hmm. And our main billing office is in Michigan, of all places.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and when we were preparing for the launch of this episode, so you were talking about just how hiring has changed. Kyle, you're working essentially, I guess, remotely, and so you were talking about how now you can hire from anywhere. I guess you've both seen that change, which was happening before the pandemic, but certainly has been accelerated.
It really didn't change too much for us. We had a billing office in Michigan where we moved some people home, but I'd say even prior to COVID, probably 60+% of our employees work remotely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we just look for people that from our software that have experience, and we'll take them wherever they lie. So it was not a huge change for us for COVID, and we were used to working remotely with employees.
Nice. Yeah, we had started a work from home program, but it was more local for people that worked in our office for them to go home to work. But when the pandemic came about, all of our staff went home, except for probably 20 people. So we had probably about 100 people that went home, and now we're able to hire all over the country. So like you said, Kyle, it's specialized people that really know what they're doing, and we can hire them from wherever they are. So it's helped us.
It gives you all many more options, gives the industry more options to be able to draw from expertise no matter where it is.
Right.
Well, radiology is consolidating, and as a lot of different medical specialties are. So, every time there's a consolidation and I hear of a billing office close that uses our software, I'm, calling up and going, "Who do you got that's good?"
Yeah.
There you go. And that's, I think, an area where HBMA could potentially help. We've got our job board, but it's also a way to network and find out who's working which areas, who's out there in terms of the industry. Is that something you've been able to leverage from HBMA?
We haven't, but we will. I've never thought about it, Kurt, but I will now. I'll definitely look there now.
Yeah. Same here.
And you both mentioned, your desire to get involved and to give back. So we appreciate that, your willingness to get involved before serving on the board, but of course your willingness to run as a director and be a member of the board. What are some of the programs that you found most helpful for you, most valuable for you that HBMA conducts? And you've both got different areas you work in terms of as a volunteer, but just programs in general.
Susan, would you like to go first?
Programs in general. I think a lot of, for me, because I'm involved with the CPR committee, I think the webinars that the HBMA has with the payers, those are very helpful. Mm-hmm. They've been helpful not only to us, but to other HBMA members that join those. I think those are helpful. A lot of the newswire, getting information through there, that's helpful for us. Those are some of the things that I find helpful.
Mm-hmm. I love the conferences. I love face-to-face contacts, and actually, I'd love to paint. Working on the committees is completely altruistic, but the relationships you build up on these committees with people, and just the knowledge base that's available in the membership of HBMA is incredible. And if you take the time in those conferences and in committee work and just working in HBM in general to bring about some of those relationships. Those are relationships that you'll find extremely valuable in running your company. So that's been very, very big for us.
Yeah, that's true. That is, the networking part of it is just amazing. The people you meet and the things you learn.
That's something that's, I hear from so many members that they find that value in it. I'm glad we're able to come back together again in Dallas in a few weeks. And actually now it's less than 2 weeks. We're, taking precautions on site in terms of making sure that everyone is safe, taking precautions to promote safety. But I'm glad that we're able to do it. This era will end someday, and hopefully sooner. It's caused enough tragedy out there, but with precautions, we can come together and do the networking you're talking about, because it's we can have these sort of chats and these virtual interactions, and I've brought people on board staffing wise too, so I empathize and understand the challenges there, but it's always good to be back in person too.
It is.
Yeah. For HBMA, though, the industry is, I think, shifting a little bit. The remote operations is one of those factors. Expansion of access to telehealth, and then of course we'll see what happens once the pandemic is over. If there are changes that are longer term that are available to practice providers. But what are some other changes you see in the industry that either the industry needs to contend with, or that HBMA needs to focus on addressing for members?
It's a great question.
Yeah, I wish I had my crystal ball going here.
I think the industry is, every year just incrementally gets a little bit more complicated, and there's new regulations and there are new things you need to account for. And, I think that organizations like the HBMA become that much more important in the scheme of things when there's so many moving parts now to revenue cycle. And so it's just a fantastic way to keep up. And that's the difficult thing. I really feel sorry for the smaller organizations that are trying to get started, because it's just too much to get your arms around. And so it's a great, HBMA is a great one-stop shop to kind of keep up with all the moving parts and everything.
Yeah, I agree. These kind of organizations that we belong to are so important in learning what is going on and where the trends are happening, and what's going on with the government and with all of the different things that we have to look at. It's a one place that we can go and get information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it highlights the power of acting collectively, coming together collectively, which is why people are members, companies are members. In terms of HBMA, though, so you'll be new to the board, helping to guide its strategic direction. Do you have a vision for HBMA? Something you'd like to bring, or maybe thought for directions for HBMA the next few years? And maybe you've just sort of thought about that now a little bit. So.
Well, Kurt, the thing that I thought about when I was deciding whether to run for the board or not was, what I could contribute if I had anything of value. I know there's people that are on the board and in the organization in general that have forgotten more about revenue cycle than I know. So, I just had to think, what am I really going to bring to the table? And I think something that it may be a little bit unique is, you've probably heard the expression thinking out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time thinking in the box. And so I just thought, in these unusual times we're in with COVID, and where you kind of have to reinvent yourself all the time because of what's going on in the country and in our industry, that it might benefit to have somebody that is going to come up with the weird ideas. And so I think that's what I was hoping to bring to the table is, a little out of the box thinking for the board.
It's always good to have someone like you.
Agreed.
No, it's like, it gives you different ideas and a different way of thinking. It's so important to be able to look at those different ideas and those different opinions and be able to evaluate and pick those things out. I have always been focused on growth. Growth for me is not only personal, but it's with it's personal, it's spiritual, it is with my staff, with teams. I'm just building our business. It's growth in every aspect, and so that's what I'd like to work on and assist with HBMA is working on those on that type of avenue is working on growth and education.
Mhm. I think there's a lot of opportunities for both. We've had to be so adaptive the last year and a half with the pandemic, and
Mm,
I think we always need new ideas. So Kyle, thinking outside the box, bringing
mm,
those innovative ideas will be welcome and appreciated. And Sue and Susan helping us to figure out how to grow HBMA and help members to grow personally and
mm,
professionally. I think those are all really important, and they actually can come together. There may be some innovative programs that achieve the growth
yeah.
both professionally and personally. And speaking of personally, so we talked about your professional path. What would you like our viewers and members to know about you personally? What's some interesting facts? Again, you live in different regions of the country. I don't know if you've always lived there, or our viewers don't know that. What would you like to share? What do you feel comfortable sharing? What's interesting?
Go ahead, Susan.
Oh, let's see. I've always lived in the Northeast, whether it be in Maine or New Hampshire. I lived in quite a few years in New Hampshire, lived quite a few years in Maine. I just moved back to New Hampshire.
Mhm.
Um, I got my motorcycle license 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So I have a Harley Davidson and I love to travel on that. I love the outdoors. We do a lot of hiking and I do a lot of camping. I just bought a camper for the first time ever, and that's been kind of fun. That's what I wanted to. We travel like up to Bar Harbor, Maine, and I'm trying to say that correctly, Bar Harbor, um, and do all of that kind of fun stuff. We have 5 grandchildren that we spend a lot of time with, and just try to have a work-life balance. That's really important to me. Work balance.
So I'm married to the controller of my company
Okay.
for 37 years. I have 2 daughters. They both live in Charleston, South Carolina. One is a doctor at MUSC, and one works for me.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, and for fun, I am usually I live here in historic Virginia, so usually I'm off doing some historic thing around the city or the area. And as I mentioned before when we were on the phone, I just became the president of the Historic Petersburg Foundation, so I'm getting into historic preservation and tourism and those sort of things, trying to promote the area. But that's a little bit about me.
I think those are both, great ways you've gotten involved in your communities as well. So, Sue, I grew up along the Appalachian Trail. That actually went right in front of my elementary school growing up. I don't
Really?
know if you've
That
hiked
is
that as
something I've
well.
always wanted to do. Oh my gosh, that is something I've always wanted to do.
So it's not near where you are because it goes through New Hampshire, right?
Yeah, it goes through Maine. It goes all the way up to Mount Katahdin.
Right. So have you hiked any stretch of it?
Yeah, pieces of it, but I'd love to do the whole thing. Maybe when I retire, I'll do it.
I've hiked just little pieces. So yeah, the whole stretch, that'd be a lot. So how about you,
Yeah.
Kyle? Are you into the outdoors, and are you into sort of the historic preservation, which I think is great too, making sure we're preserving our heritage?
Well, I'm always wandering around some battlefield or something around here with my dog. So that involves my hiking. I think the opportunity to hike the Appalachian Trail has come and gone for me, but but it sounds great. It sounds like a great thing to do.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, I appreciate you both taking time to meet with me and chat a little bit. Before we end the session, is there anything else you want to share with our members and viewers? Any parting thoughts? And that's okay if you don't.
I really don't, Kurt.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm all set.
All right. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. You all have a great day, and look forward to seeing you both in Dallas in about 2 weeks.
Me too.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Thanks for having us, Kurt.
Take care. Bye-bye.
See you,
Thanks.
Susan.
Bye-bye.
Bye.